It's not my fault that the party of FDR and JFK is turning into the party of LOL and WTF. Members of Congress tweeting things like cancel rent, cancel mortgage, and no more policing or incarceration, declaring that capitalism is slavery, canceling Lincoln and Dr. Seuss, teaching children they're oppressors and math is racist, making Mr. Potato Head gender neutral. But Democrats have become a parody of themselves, just making rules to make rules because it makes you feel like you're a better person, making sure that everything bad never happens again, which you can never fully do. It just makes everyone else's life a drag.
The left is in an uproar, and Bill Maher doesn't seem to care one bit. In a brutal live TV moment, he made it crystal clear that he thinks today's Democrats have lost touch with reality, voters, and even their own origins. This wasn't just mild criticism, it was a full-blown takedown. Maher argues that the party didn't simply move left, it plunged into pure political theater, and that's why this moment is hitting such a nerve. If you want sharp, unfiltered political commentary, hit subscribe, drop a like, and let's dive in.
It's not me who's changed, it's the left, who is now made up of a small contingent who've gone mental and a large contingent who refuse to call them out for it. But I will. That's why I'm a hero at Fox these days. Which shows just how much liberals have their head up their ass, because if they really thought about it, they would have made me a hero on their media. But that can't happen in this ridiculous new era of mind-numbing partisanship, where if I keep it real about the nonsense in the Democratic Party, it makes me an instant hero to Republicans.
Didn't back down. He laid out his position plainly. In his view, the Democratic Party has handed too much power to its most extreme voices, people pushing ideas so disconnected from reality that millions of regular voters no longer recognize the party speaking to them, and that's the key. Maher says the left didn't abandon him. He believes the left abandoned its own roots. He feels like he's the same person, while the party keeps drifting further and further away. He's not heartbroken. He's irritated, tired, and done pretending this transformation isn't happening. And if you think that was all, not even close. That was just the beginning.
Same thing happened in reverse to Darth Vader's daughter, Liz Cheney, who is now a hero to liberals simply because she recognizes Biden did not steal the last election. What a sad commentary on our politics, where simply acknowledging reality is now seen as a profile in courage. People sometimes say to me, you didn't used to make fun of the left as much. Yeah, because they didn't give me so much to work with.
Maher's critics from the left have voiced their frustrations. Some say he goes too hard on his own side, while others say he's just feeding the other camp. But when Maher mentions how progressives are upset he roasts them more than the right, that reaction is palpable. Patton Oswalt has openly challenged Maher's framing of the left, pushing back when Maher claimed liberals abandoned science. Whoopi Goldberg even clashed with Maher, rebuking him on The View for his COVID comments. What critics don't want to admit is simpler. Comedy doesn't create the absurdity, it responds to it. A comedian doesn't invent the target, it creates itself. And in Maher's view, the modern left is a never-ending source of material. Stranger rhetoric, shakier logic, louder outrage, and more positions that fall apart when ordinary people hear them out loud. He's not mocking them because he's loyal to the right, he mocks them because they make it impossible not to.
The office I took was to comedy. And if you do goofy shit, wherever you are on the spectrum, I'm going to make fun of you because that's where the gold is. And the fact that they are laughing at it should tell you something. It rings true. When normal people read that San Francisco has basically legalized shoplifting, they think Democrats have gone nuts. They think, that Ted Cruz guy seems like a real stiff. But at least he believes in the concept of shopping with money.
Maher gets to one of the reasons this divide has become impossible to ignore. Across blue cities and states, policies have emerged that many see as utterly detached from common sense. Homeless camps spread across public spaces, and leaders act like chaos is part of the city's identity. Toy stores dragged into gender debates. Students funneled through systems with lower standards and no accountability, all under the guise of progress. These aren't small internet squabbles in political corners. These are real decisions affecting real places, and they're governed by Democrats. Maher's point is devastating. When average people look at these policies, they don't see compassion. They see dysfunction wrapped in moral rhetoric. And that's why the laughter matters. It's not just humor, it's recognition.
It's not my fault that the party of FDR and JFK is turning into the party of LOL and WTF. Members of Congress tweeting things like cancel rent, cancel mortgage, and no more policing or incarceration, declaring that capitalism is slavery, canceling Lincoln and Dr. Seuss, teaching children they're oppressors and math is racist, making Mr. Potato Head gender neutral.
But Maher doesn't stop there. The list of absurdities only grows. Canceling rent, canceling mortgage debt, abolishing police and prisons, calling capitalism slavery. Lincoln's legacy is questioned, and Dr. Seuss dragged into the culture war. Kids are taught oppression is their inheritance, and even math is branded as racist. Then there's Mr. Potato Head, turned into a political symbol. Read that list slowly, and it sounds like parody. The problem is, it's not. These are real talking points, real issues, and real policies coming from the modern left. Behind Maher's sarcasm is disbelief. He's watching a political movement abandon practicality for performance and demand applause for the shift.
Now an emoji for pregnant men. Real, I'm not making it up. California just passed a law requiring large retailers to have a non-gendered toy section. A non-gendered toy section? Isn't Ken enough?
Then comes one of the most eye-opening moments. Gavin Newsom was asked about California's law requiring retailers to create gender-neutral toy sections. Instead of defending the law directly, the answer veered into something bizarre, claiming that businesses were actually asking for government intervention. Think about that. Businesses supposedly lobbying for more rules. This explanation collapses under scrutiny. Retailers rarely ask for more regulatory burdens. Maher clearly didn't buy it, and neither did anyone else listening closely, because what was left was an answer that was more convenient than believable.
A law for that? You have to inject yourselves into everything, from where you can throw a frisbee to who can braid hair? This is why so many people, by the way, were triggered by COVID policies. They were already sick of rules. Regulation should be a good issue for Democrats. It's certainly one they're associated with. And I think the average voter would agree that banks and chemical plants and drug companies need watching. Telling a company, you can't dump the waste from your hog farm straight into the water supply. We're mostly all for that. But Democrats have become a parody of themselves, just making rules to make rules because it makes you feel like you're a better person.
And honestly, this critique lands because overregulation rarely affects the people it's meant to. People determined to behave recklessly or criminally don't suddenly become responsible just because more laws are passed. The ones who bear the brunt are the ones trying to do the right thing. The taxpayers, the workers, the drivers, the everyday, people just trying to get by. Vehicle ownership is the perfect example. More forms, more rules, more hassle. Meanwhile, the reckless still ignore the system entirely. That's the trap. Good intentions announce themselves, but bad execution follows, and innocent people bear the load while the worst offenders skate by untouched.
Making sure that everything bad never happens again, which you can never fully do. It just makes everyone else's life a drag. The Biden infrastructure bill has a provision that requires all new cars to install an alert system that goes off when you leave a baby in the back seat, which is something done only by crackheads and people who sadly, yes, do it on purpose. And after every one of us winds up bearing the cost for cars to install this alarm, you know who's going to ignore it? Crackheads and people who do it on purpose.
And the consequences of this mindset aren't theoretical anymore. California is the clearest example of what happens when regulation, taxation, and political vanity pile up without enough accountability. People are leaving, businesses are fleeing, and entire industries are reconsidering their future in the state. Hewlett-Packard Enterprise, a company tied to California for over a century, relocated after facing punishing regulations. Elon Musk moved from Los Angeles to Texas, pointing to taxes and overregulation as his reason. These aren't isolated stories. They're signs of a deeper issue. And what makes Maher's criticism even sharper is that the leadership response rarely looks introspective. There's no serious correction, no course change, just more doubling down, as if repeating the same formula will magically produce different results.
Sensor light is not going to fix this problem, and Democrats no longer possess the common sense to understand that not every problem in the world can be fixed with a regulation. But don't tell that to the advocacy groups who also want every future car in America to only start when the driver blows into a breathalyzer. Oh, great, my other car is a Karen. Well, you know, it's also not safe to drive when you're crying. Should we make a car that follows your texts and stops the engine when you're dumped?
So here's the picture Maher paints. Not of a man suddenly turning conservative, but of someone watching the Democratic Party drift into something unrecognizable. In his eyes, the party traded common sense for ideological performance, traded practical leadership for symbolic gestures, and grew further out of touch with the people it once represented. From bizarre policies to weak explanations, Maher sees a party losing its grip in real time. And maybe that's why this hits such a nerve. He's not speaking as an outsider. He's speaking as someone who believes the left lost its balance and doesn't want to pretend otherwise. If you enjoyed this breakdown, drop a like, subscribe, and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Is bad. How about a car that won't start unless you play a message about tolerance from George Takei? Regular viewers of this program may recall my long battle to get solar power hooked up at my house. It involved this shed, which had to be built to house this solar battery. Yes, that battery needed a house to live in. And not just any house, one that had to follow the specifications of this chart. That's a real chart of the steps we had to go through to get this thing turned on. Democrats have to stop thinking that what the voters dream about is to be hassled.